How's that? I forgot to hit start stream. Go me. Is that better? Okay, good. I actually forgot to hit the start stream button. I have to hit it in two different spots, one for my software and one on YouTube, and I forgot the YouTube one. All right, so is there anything specific that we want to go over? Any specific exercises that you're having difficulty with that you would like to specifically like ask me questions about? One thing that might be helpful if you can is if you email me a screenshot of what your code looks like, or if you I don't know if it'll copy paste in here really well. Let's check. Okay, I'm just gonna post some random code into chat and see what it looks like. Okay. Oh, it's too long. You can only do 200 characters of code. Yeah, so probably taking a screenshot. If you know how to link that right here, that's fine. If not, you can just email it to me. But if you have a specific question about something that's wrong, just let me know. Okay. So what I was talking about to nobody because I forgot to turn on the stream was just to kind of give you an idea about what's going on with this. Okay. Okay. So challenge exercises. So let me see. Let me just look real quick at my thing. I think I'm gonna have you guys just focus on the regular exercises. This is actually my first time using this website. We've gotten a lot of great reviews about it, but let me take a look at. Okay, so period D great. Okay, so 1.1.1.2 for. So I'm not gonna. I know I'm not gonna have you guys do the creative task because that was a little too open ended. Um, so let me come back to my courses. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna have you do all of 1.1, all of 1.2, okay, all of 1.3, and then 1.4. But you don't have to worry about the challenge exercises. No, I'm just gonna have you stop at 1.4. And I did mention this in the, and I'll show you kind of. Oh, actually, it's right here. Okay. Down here, you can see that it has the number of stars. You don't have to do. You can see that in the Unit 1 exercises, there are 12 problems here. You don't have to do all 12 problems. Okay. So you can see that these ones are four listed as 1 point. These four are listed as 2 points, and these four are listed as 3 points. Okay. You only have to do 8 points worth, right? So if you do two of the 3 pointers, right, that's 6 points, and then you can do one of the 2 pointers, and then you're done. Okay. Um, and then after that, it's just kind of whatever you want to do. But if you want to do like 4 1 pointers and two of these ones are definitely like easier to do, right? But everything else is done. Okay. So you get to decide. But don't worry about the Unit 1 challenge. That's just if you want to try to do something like that, if you, that's like, your option. And then again, don't worry about the creative tasks. They are like end of unit stuff. I'm only going to have you go as far as that, the creative tasks. Okay. So what I'm going to do, if you want to go forward, is my goal is to just have you do right now a unit of this a week. Because if you take a look at the kind of what's going on after this, it starts doing mouse events, which is I think where this starts to get a lot more interesting. It starts to do some things a little bit more code related. So if you want to see, for example, something that you're one of the exercises that you're going to do, you can see that if I run this, okay, if I run it, okay, I believe the code, oh no, the solution, okay, the code changes, or it's supposed to anyway. Test case, it's supposed to change. Check code. Oh, I got the credit for it, but I believe. Oh, there you go. It changed to hello. My name is Al. Right. So you're going to start to see a lot more animation stuff coming up. Okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to unlock just the whole course. And if you want to sit down, if you're just bored because you're stuck at home, you can proceed at whatever pace you want. And I'm gonna kind of just play it by ear. So right now, if I'm doing a unit a week and we start to get into this more complex stuff which involves coding, I might only do like a couple of sections a week. But there's a ton of information here. It starts to get really cool once you get to some of the later ones. You can see that like there's for loops and while loops all the way down here in Unit 9, right? I'm curious, what's it? Yeah, so press space to enter text, and we can do like hello, right? And it does its a little text. So, well, I'm going to do this right now for you guys. Let's see. So I'll go to the top. Okay. So is there anything specifically that anyone wants to go over? How do we use the inspector? Good question. Okay. So let me unlock this for people, and then I will show you how to use the inspector for one of those like gradient ones. Okay. So this is, oh, it says unlimited. All notes and exercises are visible. So you should be able to move on, and you can do them as possible. I had them locked originally. Okay. Yeah, so if you want to move on and you want to move at your own pace, you can keep going with this. Like I said, I think this gets a lot more fun as you keep going forward because you start doing things with like the mouse and the keyboard and loops and interactive things and functions. So I think it gets real fun. So yeah, go at your own pace, okay, and you'll just be way ahead of the game. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at one for the inspector. So let's find a good like unit 1 exercise or something. Okay, so if I take a look at like this Mickey right here, there's a lot of stuff going on, and our goal is just to like write code to draw Mickey, right? You can look at this, and if you see as I'm hovering over the inspector area, it's giving me a lot of information, and where my mouse is what really matters. Okay, I don't know if I can make that bigger. No, I can't. Okay, so you can see that as I'm hovering over just this text here, it's telling me where this big rectangle, this background is, that it is starting at 0, 0, which is the top left, right? And it's saying that it's doing a gradient that goes from fire brick to red, right? So that information in the top right is telling me about the colors that have to be there. And then the one thing that's not on here, but that's important, is that this entire thing goes actually it is here. It goes to 400, 400, right? So when I look at the code for the information about rectangles, okay, you can see that when I type it in, it's going to do left top. Okay, so I know that my left top is going to be at 0, 0. So if I type in the code for the background, I'm going to say rect. Okay, I'm going to start at 0, 0. Okay, 0, 0. Okay, and then it's going to ask me not where it's going to end, but it's going to ask me about the width and the height. So since this background is covering the entire 400 by 400 grid, I know that it's going to be 400 wide and 400 tall. Right, so when I go to my code, I'm going to say comma 400, comma 400. Okay, and that's all you would have to type. That's the only thing that's required. Right, it does say that we have a lot of other things we can do about fill and border and all that kind of stuff. So we can use that as a reference as well. So we wanted to do a gradient. Okay, which again, if you want to get information on gradient, you can just click on colors and tabs. Okay. And right, we can see that for gradient, we just do fill, gradient, and then whatever we want it to do, right? So again, looking up the documentation is going to be helpful. So I'm going to say in this case, this is comma, fill, gradient. And again, the typing of it is what's going to take some getting used to. Equals gradient, okay? And then in quotes, I'm going to say they're telling me fire brick. So I'm going to say fire brick, comma, red, right? And these are strings, so you have to put them in quotes, okay? Oh, single quotes, not double quotes, okay? Again, this is a Python change, okay? Because Python, their strings use singles. Okay, so that would be my thing. And I can run it and check, right? This might not be exactly right, but I can run my code and see that I'm getting this red background that kind of looks the same as theirs, right? Okay, fire brick in red, okay? So I'm going to stick with that, okay? And I might get some feedback after I run it to go forward, okay? So then if I wanted to do some of the other information, I could see that, okay, let me draw its ears, right? It says draw the head, okay? It says head, mouth. His mouth is composed of 4 lines, and then eyes and nose. Okay, so I'm going to draw the head, and it looks like the head is made up of this circle in the middle, which is 200, 200, right? So again, I can go to my documentation on circle, right, and see it tells me where it's the center. So I'm going to just type in circle, okay? And that's centered at 200, 200, okay? And then it says that I have to do the radius, which is also here. If I hover over that middle circle, it says radius 100, okay? And then it says fill equals black, right? And again, let's just do a quick check on this. I'm going to run my code, and there's my circle in the center. So you just kind of go through it piece by piece and say, okay, it's saying mouth, and then eyes and nose, which would be last. So I'm going to put up the ears as well. I'm going to put that into this head section, okay? So this would be another circle, but now centered at 100, 100, okay? And again, if you have any clarifying questions about what I'm doing for the inspector, just let me know, okay? And this one's got a radius of 50, okay? And it is also fill black, okay? And then I have one more ear for the same kind of thing, right? This right-hand ear is a circle, which is centered at 300, 100, also radius 50, okay? And its fill equals black, okay? So you can see how I'm just going through piece by piece and trying to fill it in. And again, if you hit the play button, now I can see that I have like the whole Mickey head, right? And then it's asking me to do the mouth, okay? So I'm not going to keep going and do this entire thing, but you can get the idea that now when I'm reading this, it says his mouth is composed of 4 lines and 3 ovals. The peach puff and salmon ovals hide part of the black oval, right? So that would be what this stuff is, right? So you can see that I have this line here, right? Which is, it says 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm guessing that's 2 lines, okay? And then it says the peach puff and salmon ovals hide part of the black oval, right? So I have this black oval here, right, which is, nope, the salmon is his tongue, okay? So I'm guessing this oval right here is the black, and then this peach puff, the salmon oval down bottom, and then there's a peach puff one right here that's kind of making it rounded like that. So that one's a little tricky, but you get the idea. All these little dots are kind of telling me where the center of those circles are and where the lines are, okay? All right. So again, if you have any other specific questions about something like this, which you can see this is pretty complex. There's a lot of little pieces to it for the eyes and nose, right? I can go through a little bit more, okay? Again, any other specific questions about specific exercises? Dan, to answer your question, I'm going to go to my grade book. Well, I won't go to my grade book. I don't want to, put people on notice, okay? So if you take a look, this is Unit 1, okay? And I'll go to, this is what you can see. You are not responsible for these Unit 1 challenges, okay? These are just if you want, if you're done and you're like, hey, that was really fun, I want to keep doing it, and you want to draw, this guy, okay? You can do that, okay? Or you can do something like that, which is pretty cool. All right, these are all entirely optional just for you to try out and continue to like practice. Okay, you also do not need to do the creative tasks. These are, again, like too open-ended. They just literally give you a blank canvas and say like start typing. Okay, so you just have to worry about everything in 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and 1.4, and that's it. Okay, and then the unit review, I don't know if I even unlocked for you guys. Actually, no, you guys don't see any of this stuff. I'm not going to have you guys do the quizzes on this. I really just want you to focus on kind of seeing some Python and getting used to that without ever having to, like, take a whole other class on it. Okay, so it's like you'll see that again. Like at the beginning, this course is a little bit slow, but it'll get a little bit better. Like the next section is all about mouse events, where we can you can kind of do some fun things with it. Okay. 3 stars in 1.4. 1.4. So this one says 1.4. It says 8 points of stars. Okay. So let me just see if I can bring up my grade book over here. Okay. My non-broadcasted screen. Period H, right? Okay. Grade book. Now 1.4 is supposed to be 8 stars. Okay. So that would be any combination of these problems, okay? So you can see that there's 3 pointers, 2 pointers, and 1 pointers. So the 3 pointers, you could do like this one, and that would be 6 points, and then do one of the 2 pointers, and that would be your total 8 points. So you might end up doing 3 problems. If you wanted to, you could do 4 1 stars and then 2 of the 2 stars, and that would also add up to 8, okay? So however you want to do them, you're just going to pick any combination of up to or at least 8 points, okay? So okay, that's what we're going to do with these. And then again, like once we get to section 2, I might change the pacing a little bit, but you just have like the whole week to do the just unit 1, okay? And the next week, again, we'll mess around with the timing depending on how much we need, because you can see that there's a lot more new information. It's the first time we're going to use the mouse and all, so we'll try that out too, okay? So we're just kind of going with the flow a little bit and, trying out some new things, okay? Does anyone else have any other questions that you wanted to go over, okay? And again, if you have a specific question about anything, just let me know. and I will be around. I'm just going to leave the stream going and the chat up. Okay, and you can just pop in and ask a question if you have it. If not, you are welcome to send me an email. Just take a screenshot of your code and say, "Hey, it's giving me this error." I've been able to help out a bunch of people with that too. Okay, so I'm gonna pop this into my fun logo here and just leave the chat up. And if you have any other questions, I will be here. Okay, let me pop up my. Oh, it's up there already. Okay. All right, so I'm going to hit mute on the mic because you might hear a dog or a baby in the background otherwise. But if you have any other questions, just let me know. The stream will be up for about another 20 minutes. So no, to answer your question about lines having borders, the answer to that is no, they can't, right? So again, I just pulled up the documentation. That's going to be like one of your best friends for this. So like up here, this docs tab, if you right click on it and just open it in a new tab, okay, you can keep this available. You can see that these are the things that you can do with lines and arrows if you want to put arrows on the end of your lines. It's just the starting value, the ending value, right? Where the line starts and where the line ends. And then you can do a fill color. So what color is the line? You can do a line width, and then you can decide for it to have dashes. Opacity is just it being see-through. If opacity is set to 100%, then that means it's solid. And then if you lower it, it will be more see-through. And then arrows, right? So these are the only options. Everything past those first 5 pieces is optional, right? I believe it's anything past these is optional, right? It tells you right here the first 4 are required. Okay, so if you don't specify a fill color, it'll just do black, and the dashes and all, obviously. But yeah, no borders on that, just colors. Okay, if you're trying to do one that maybe has some kind of color change to it, it might be a gradient, right? Because if you do fill equals gradient, you can make it go from like black to white or something like that. Hope that answers your question. All right, cool. I'm going back to my fun logo. Okay, again, I'm here for any questions that you guys might have. Just let me know.